Just give me the lowdown. What did Carl Icahn win today?
So this was a really quick fight with Carl Icahn, who's known to drag out fights and things can get pretty ugly, but this went down relatively quickly. He built up a position earlier this month, now owns a little under 20% of the company, and in this agreement, he cannot go higher than 20%, and two of his associates will get a seat on the board. The board will be expanded by 2 directors.
So what does he say? I mean, Carl Icahn says it's undervalued. Of course, when an activist comes in as a company, maybe you get a little nervous, but you want to hear them out. What specifically is undervalued to him?
Because the fight happened so quickly, we never actually heard from Carl what his big plan was. He did say on TV before that he thought the merger with Hortonworks that Cloudera undertook last year didn't go so great. The stock's been down almost 50% in the past year. So he was a little critical, but nothing as bad as he said about, Occidental. He's not taking the management to the cleaners or getting cute like that. So we don't really know what his plan was.
Some of the analyst notes I was reading about Cloudera, which is a cloud company, basically, has been the future for the company could be one of an acquisition. So you have IBM acquiring Red Hat. Some analysts were saying that this makes very much more sense for IBM to come back in and look at Cloudera. What is the exit strategy for Cloudera?
I spoke with the company earlier today, and they're not willing to say anything about M&A going forward, but one of Carl Icahn's directors will serve on the M&A committee for the company. That had been formed already, and the press release today did say that Cloudera was working with Morgan Stanley on the announcement today. So they do have a banker, but I can't say whether it would be a target, but it is of that size of software companies that do get taken out by bigger companies. But it's also a small valuation. Would it be wise to sell at this value? In the private markets a few years ago, Cloudera was a $4 billion company. Now it's under $2 billion.
Who were the other investors? We talked so much about Carl Icahn. Who else is behind this company?
A Czech investor today put out a statement saying he supports Carl Icahn, called Krupa. So that was one investor. I'd never heard of them. But I think a lot of Cloudera investors are frustrated because the shares are down almost in half. So they're not getting a whole lot for their money right now.
Well, and especially for a cloud computing company where all we hear is about how good the cloud is. Any other exit strategies that we know, if let's say IBM or Red Hat weren't invested, where else could they turn to?
Cloudera has all the buzzwords. It has cloud in its name, as you mentioned. But from what I understand, talking to experts, the focus that they have, it's been commoditized. It's services around the cloud, and they were forced to combine with their biggest competitor, Hortonworks, which was problematic. So we'll see what the future holds for them. They have some new products coming out later this summer.